Hello guys, this is Avcoor, and I want to talk about limit breaks as opposed to summons and which are important and what are the benefits to limit breaks as opposed to summons and what is the benefit to summons as opposed to limit breaks. So let's start with our party to get a better understanding of limit breaks and what they do. So when you look at your party and you look at limit breaks as opposed to summons, there's a couple of differences. So first of all, let's go to limit breaks first, and you'll see that I have both limit breaks for Aerith at 6. You'll also see that I have Cloud's limit breaks at 6. And we'll go to Barrett, and you'll see both of them are at 6. They can reach 7 now that we hit level 55, so we can get them to level 7. So the first thing I will say about limit breaks is, depending on the character, your limit breaks can be very, very different. Very different. So why do I say that? Because the first thing you need to know about summons is, for the time being, summons only do damage. And they only do elemental damage. That's, they do damage and they do elemental damage. That's the first thing to consider when you're looking at elements. The reason for this is they fill a slot in your party. When you construct your teams at the highest level, you really want to generate as much elemental advantage as possible, because the multipliers that they give to elemental attacks are extremely high. So don't look at the limited scope of what a summon attack does as a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. So limit breaks can be pretty versatile. Say for instance, Grenade Bomb does 2,000 physical non-magic damage to the enemy, and Mind Blow does 1,280% physical magic non-elemental damage to the enemy, but it reduces defense and magic defense by mid. So that's 2 stages of magic defense and physical defense reduction, which is really cool. Really clutch almost. And it really defines his overall playstyle. But you'll notice that the charge speed of his attack is 1,800, and the charge speed of Hellfire is 1,920 max. So at max, both of these will be 1,920. At max, both of these will be 1,920. So the first thing you need to know about limit breaks is the regular character limit breaks, when maxed, is always quicker than a summon. But the trade-off is actually damage. So let's look at damage. So let's look at Hellfire. Hellfire does 2,275% physical magic damage, as opposed to 2,000 physical magic non-elemental damage. So the damage is actually higher on your summons. And that's a big, big, big deal. Because when you want to use your limit breaks or your summons, you're trying to do as much damage as possible. That's the whole point of the skill, is for you to do as much damage as possible in a clutch situation. Summons actually provide that. So when you look at these guys, even though the scope of what they do is limited, the damage output is phenomenal. And even though the time it takes to charge is slower, the damage is phenomenal. But there are some advantages to limit breaks. So let's go to Aerith, and you'll see that one of her limit breaks is Healing Wind, that actually heals your allies and gives them regen. Remember, the overall scope of what a summon does is damage, and it adds an element to it. Another thing you'll notice about all the attacks from regular limit breaks is they don't have an element, and that limits their overall damage potential. That means when you go into dungeons, when you go into these places where you can potentially generate an elemental advantage, it might not be there. And that may hurt your run or it may hurt the execution of your strategy because damage matters in this game. There's two things that really matter in this game when you cut through all the crap: damage and survivability. You're trying to do as much damage as possible while surviving the enemy. And that gives you the clears that you need in order to clear content. So when you consider these two factors, you always have to look at summons and give them an extra point. I'm not saying that limit breaks are bad, but overall, you're looking to improve your summons more so than you are looking to improve your limit breaks. Limit breaks are pretty good, but only in certain situations. And at certain times in those situations, if you had a summon, it would probably perform better. Not to saying that limit breaks are bad, but for the time being, summons are more meta. They generate elemental advantage, they do massive levels of damage, and they are consistent. They are consistent in what they are doing. Only certain limit breaks will stand out. Matt's limit break will stand out, Eric's limit break will stand out, and Tifa's limit break will stand out, and so will Barrett's. And on some level, Sephiroth, but then again, a summon can do what Sephiroth's trying to do. Even if he buffs himself, the summon will actually perform better. And I've tested this myself, and I can honestly say that even though limit breaks are faster, you're better off pouring your resources into summons because they're going to clear more content for you. But anyways, if you like my content, hit the like, share, and subscribe button. I'll get back to you, and you have a great day, and goodbye.